Morning. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, and this is Devotions from St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We're going to take a passage today from Matthew's Gospel. Jesus is going to speak to his disciples to amplify many of the laws that are written in the Old Testament and give a new meaning, a new perspective to these laws. So this passage is from the 5th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. Jesus said, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to go into hell. It's also been said, 'Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce.' But I say to you that anyone who divorces his wife, except on the grounds of unchastity, causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery with her. Again, you have heard it said, 'To those of ancient times, you shall not swear falsely, but carry out the vows you have made to the Lord.' But I say to you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not swear by your own head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Then let your words be yes for yes and no for no. Anything more than that comes from the evil one." For me, these are reasonably hard lessons because they talk about things that are easy for us to do in a normal course of our lives, and yet Jesus says they're contrary to the law as he interprets it. Particularly hard for me is this idea, if your eye causes you to sin or your hand causes you to sin, to cut it off or cut it out. And as I walk around, I don't see very many people that are missing a hand or missing an eye because they have followed this law. And so I suspect a lot of people feel the same as I do. But all of these things tell us the depth that Jesus holds the law. So what is this thing, the law? What does it do for us? Is it something that we can live up to? Well, first of all, any law is supposed to set boundaries, tell you what is right and what is not right, what is permissible and not permissible, and sometimes what is beneficial and not beneficial. Anyone who writes a law fully expects that some people will violate the law, and there should be incentive to follow the law, and some of that's going to be penalty for failing to follow the law. Is this what Jesus is about? Is this what he's trying to tell us with these lessons? I think he's trying to set our minds on a higher plane than just physically following the law. He's trying to tell us what the ideal is like, what the ideal in heaven, if you will, is going to be like when that's our full-time living space. But right now we're here on this living space, this place called Earth, and we deal with other human beings like ourselves. So for us, what is the value of the law? Well, for me, it seems that the law, especially as Jesus has amplified it, defines how far I fall short of the ideal, how much I still have to learn and do and work hard at to fill the shoes that Jesus would have me fill. Now, what does that mean? Well, Peter asked the question, if this is the way it is, who can be saved? And Jesus answered, for human beings it is not possible, but for God all things are possible. And so it seems to me that this passage, this amplification of the law, shows us that we need God all the time, in every way that we can even think about, because we fall short of what He expects. And praise be to God, He has provided that for us in the person of Jesus Christ. And so we need specifically to be followers of Jesus in every way and be very, very confident that He has already done everything that is required for us to seem to pass the standards of the law. Now, in everyday life, we're going to fall short, but Jesus has already paid the penalty, and we don't have to worry about that in the long run. Now, all these things that Jesus said, we should try very, very hard to live up to those standards. Very hard. That's what He calls us to do. But Jesus knows, because Jesus was like us, Jesus was a human being. He grew up in an earthly family and knows all the things that go on in earthly families. But then He died on the cross and He rose from the dead, and He allowed us to be like Him if we believe that He is the Christ. And so that's what we have to cling to, because the law says you don't measure up. You don't measure up, but I have provided a way. And that's what Jesus is telling us. It's important for us to understand that this idea of relationship with Jesus is life-saving. It's so important because on our own, we cannot do it. So thanks be to God that He has provided us a way, that He has provided us salvation through His Son. I hope you'll read the 5th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. I've only read a little part. There's lots of examples of the law. But it says to me, I desperately need Jesus to be my Savior. I hope you see the same thing. Thank you.